Good evening, East Alabama. This is the Locker Room presented by Ted's Floors and Beyond. I'm Namath Pitts. Welcome in on this Monday afternoon. It was a busy weekend here in East Alabama. The first round of the state playoffs in baseball, and we had 4 teams from East Alabama that did advance to the next round, the second round of the state playoffs. We had about 5 others whose season came to an end. We are going to recap the whole first round. You're going to hear from 4 winning coaches. You're going to hear from 2 Oxford Yellow Jacket baseball players, and we have got a great show. We're going to recap softball action from this past weekend as well. Big tournament at Oxford Lake. A couple teams playing at Hoover. We're going to recap all the action from that as well. Hey, before we get into the locker room, I want to remind you to hit that like and follow button on our East Alabama Now page so that you don't miss the locker room. We're here every weekday, Monday through Friday at 5 p.m. Also tonight at 6:30 p.m., we'll have our East Alabama Now news. We have got two great news stories for you guys. One is a Alexandria Valley Cub pitcher who threw a perfect game. It is very rare to throw a no-hitter. It is even more rare to throw a perfect game, to not give up a single walk or a hit, and to face the minimum. That's what Trip Patterson did against Douglas in the first round of the state playoffs. So we're going to talk with Trip Patterson. You're going to hear from him tonight on our East Alabama Now news. Also, Cleburne County's Faith Brown putting pen to paper to play basketball at the next level at Southern Union Community College. We're going to also have more on her tonight. So those 2 stories can be found tonight at 6:30 p.m. on our East Alabama Now news. Hey, let's get right into the action right here on the locker room, though. We're going to start by recapping softball action from this past weekend. So we always start our show with the EAN scoreboard. So let's get right into our EAN scoreboard. Looking at softball action from this weekend, Coach Gary Atchley's Jacksonville Golden Eagles played at Oxford Lake this past weekend. They won 3 out of 4 games. They defeated Shelby County 4-2. They defeated Central Clay 4-1 and defeated Mumford 4-3. They would take a tough loss to Boaz. They fell to Boaz 13-0. In their game against Shelby County, Lexi Phillips contributed with a double and RBI. Tia Evans and Sadie Pate Whitfield each had a single and RBI, while Johanna Ingram hit a double and scored a run. Evans pitched for 5 innings, allowing 10 hits and 2 runs while striking out 1. Against Central Clay, Evans delivered a solid performance, only giving up 3 hits with 1 strikeout, also going 1 for 3 at the plate. Ingram was impressive, went 2 for 3 with a triple, a run, and 2 RBIs. Barnes added on the offensive side with a double, a run, and an RBI. And Libby Strain also had an RBI. And then against Mumford, Ingram had an RBI double in the top of the 9th inning, which ultimately gave Jacksonville the win. Strain also hit a double. Evans went 2 for 3, and Evans also pitched for the Golden Eagles as she gave up just 3 hits and struck out 4 batters over 6 innings as Jacksonville won 3 out of 4 games this weekend at Oxford Lake. Let's talk about, Coach Atchley left Weaver to go to Jacksonville. Let's talk about Coach Andy Fulmer and the Weaver Bearcats. Speaking of Fulmer, Kenley Fulmer had an outstanding pitching performance, allowing no hits over 5 innings in 2 games, leading Weaver to victories over Boaz 5-3 and Woodland 13-0. That was Friday night at Oxford Lake. That had moved Weaver to a 7-game winning streak, but that winning streak did come to an end on Saturday. Fulmer pitched all 3 innings against Woodland, striking out 3 batters and fanning 5 over 2 innings. In the game against Woodland, how about Anna Stravinsky hit a 3-run home run, finished with 2 hits, 5 RBIs. Fulmer and Jaden Smith each had a single and had an RBI each. Had 2 RBIs, while McKenna Holmesley and Peyton Marvesty had a single and RBI. Against Boaz, Fulmer had another impressive day, but this one at the plate. She went 2 for 3 with 3 RBIs. Ella Kynes had a single and an RBI, and Alana Cooper drove in a run. Then on Saturday, Weaver completed their run at Oxford Lake. They defeated Woodland 2-0, but would ultimately fall to the eventual champion, which would be Boaz, as they fell to Boaz 10-5. They did beat Woodland to make it 8 straight wins before Boaz ended that. Against Woodland, Fulmer pitched a 1-hitter. She struck out 9 batters. Alana Cooper and Kaylin Free each had a single and RBI, as Weaver went 3-1 on the weekend. Alexandria, the Valley Cubs, Coach Hess's team, they had a bit of a challenging weekend at the Hoover Met. They went 1-3 on the weekend. They lost to Liberty Creek, which, by the way, Liberty Creek is not in Alabama. Then they lost to Helena 10-2, lost to Curry 6-0. Their only win this weekend at the Hoover Met came 12-4 over Pike Road. In that game against Pike Road, Jill Cockrell had a standout performance, went 2 for 3 with a double, 2 runs, and 2 RBIs. Callie Hess also contributed. She went 1 for 2 with a run and 2 RBIs. Brindley Sparks had a single, a run, and RBI, and Presley Slayton drove in a run. Charlie Paris had a strong day as well, going 2 for 2 with 2 runs. Alyssa Hunt went 2 for 3 at the plate. Slayton earned the win, allowing 2 hits, 1 earned run while striking out 6. But it was a tough weekend for Alexandria at the Hoover Met. It was also a tough weekend for White Plains at the Hoover Met. Coach Muncher's team had a challenging weekend. They went 1-2 on their Saturday games. They defeated Lawrence County 11-1, but suffered a heavy loss against Hoover as they got shut out 13-0. Against Lawrence County, though, Leighton Arnold had an excellent game. She allowed just 2 hits, struck out 3 batters in 5 innings. She also contributed at the plate with a single and a run batted in. Carly Fritz had a productive game, hitting a single and driving in 2 RBIs. They also got support from Carly Otwell, Cassidy Arnold, and Brayton Moran, who each had a single and an RBI. White Plains split Saturday at the Hoover Met. The only other team that was in action this past weekend was Rachel Smith and the Piedmont Bulldogs. They will host the area tournament, although they fell to Weaver last week. They split the day. They beat Sardis 1-0 and then fell to Madison Academy 2-0. Against Sardis, Savannah Smith delivered an outstanding pitching performance. She only gave up 3 hits. She struck out 8 batters. On the offensive side, Kayla Brothers had a strong game. Went 2 for 3 with a triple, scored a run. Casey Brothers drove in a run. Against Madison Academy, Carson Young did pitch a complete game, allowing 8 hits and 1 earned run with 3 strikeouts. Kayla Brothers, her sister Casey Brothers, and then JC Glover each had a single. It was a strong effort for Piedmont, but it was not enough offensively to defeat Madison Academy as Piedmont split the weekend going 1-1. So that is all of our softball action from this past weekend. And so with that, we're going to go ahead and transition into soccer. There was one team that got their first win of the season this past weekend, and that was the Weaver Bearcats boys soccer team. So let's go back to our scoreboard, but let's look at soccer. How about Leo Mondragon? He scored 2 goals as Weaver boys got their first win of the season as they defeated Sachs 4-3. Jacob Roble and Orlando Mondragon each added a goal, contributing to what was a comeback for Weaver. They had 3 second-half goals after trailing at halftime. It was a thrilling victory for the team with a strong performance in the second half that ultimately got the win for Weaver 4-3. Talking about Weaver and Sachs, let's look at the girls' game. Freshman Leah Garcia had an outstanding game for Sachs, scoring 4 goals to lead the Wildcats. Also, Loani Martinez and Jayana Cobb each added a goal as they contributed to Sachs' success. This impressive performance by Garcia, along with the contributions from Martinez and Cobb, showed how strong Sachs can be offensively, as Sachs girls got the win over Weaver 6-1. The final game from the weekend, Donahoe Falcons and Hooks Bluff. Erin Turley and Anna Kate Wallace each scored a goal as Donahoe won the Class 1A through 3A Area 6 title. Their contributions, talking about Erin Turley and Anna Kate Wallace, were instrumental in securing the victory, leading to the team's championship success in area play. They will now host the first round of the state playoffs. We talked with Coach Melton and with Erin Turley this past Friday on the locker room. They got the win and won their area tournament, or won their area championship as they won by 2-0. And Coach Melton, I might have been just a bit of good luck. Interviewed you on Friday. You win an area championship the same night. Needless to say, Donahoe is a very dangerous team as the playoffs approach. We are expecting them to make a deep run, and we will be right there to cover it. That basically sums up all the scores from softball and soccer. By the way, if you're ever looking for the most up-to-date stats at the moment, I would highly suggest you to go see Joe Medley at EA Sports Today. We partner with Joe in different things, so sometimes you'll see us use stats, maybe typically from Game Changer, but may get them from Joe. So I want to make sure that you guys know about Joe Medley at EA Sports Today. We had him on a couple weeks ago. He does a great job helping just bring the best content here in East Alabama. Hey, when we come back, we're going to talk state playoffs in baseball. The first round, we're going to talk 1A, 2A, and 3A. In the next segment, you're going to hear from head coach Matt Deerman from Piedmont. You're going to hear from Coach Gendron from Donahoe. We have more with both those coaches in just a minute as we continue on the Locker Room, presented by Ted's Floors and Beyond.
Can I help make pancakes, Dad?
Of course, buddy. I absolutely love these cabinets we have here in our showroom. And as much as you like these right here, the options on this kitchen over here, I think you're going to... For real, Randall?
I love this kitchen.
Let's do a kitchen makeover in your home.
Fair enough.
Seriously, guys?
We made you one.
Okay. We ought to do this more often.
We live in a world that moves quickly. And while we are able to connect faster than ever through technology, maybe you've noticed that real connection is hard to come by. Parker Memorial Baptist Church offers you a place to connect, a place to learn more about Jesus and the difference He can make in your life, a place to build relationships with like-minded believers, or maybe discover what it means to be a follower of Jesus Christ. A place to use the gifts and talents God has given you. A place where we love God and we love you. Parker Memorial Baptist Church, 1205 Quintard Avenue, Anniston. Visit our website for details.
Ted's Floors and Beyond brings you the locker room each and every day. Ted's Floors and Beyond has all your floor needs, whether it's hardwood, laminate, carpet, tile, or luxury vinyl. They have it for you right there at Ted's. You can go by their showroom there in Anniston. You can pick out what you like, want, and need, and they can do it right there at Ted's. Also, they've got their partnership with Lockeroom Cabinet and will offer you a complete kitchen or bath makeover. That includes cabinets, countertops, flooring, backsplashes, tile showers. They can get it done there at Ted's Floors and Beyond. And now they offer you work on your outdoor space, whether it's an outdoor kitchen, patio, or living space. They have specially made outdoor tiles and stones that can enhance your outdoor experience. Go by and see them today at their showroom in Anniston on Highway 431, right before you get to Sax Elementary School. Or visit them online at shopteds.com. That's shopteds.com. Ted's Floors and Beyond brings you the locker room. We continue on this Monday afternoon. The first round of the state playoffs in baseball has now come and gone. We had 9 teams from East Alabama that entered making the playoffs. You had in Class 1A, Jacksonville Christian Academy, Class 2A, Rambert and Donahoe, and 3A, Welborn and Piedmont. We'll be talking about those 5 teams this segment. And the next segment, we'll be talking about in 4A, Jacksonville and White Plains. We'll be talking about Alexandria in 5A and Oxford in 6A. Today, you're going to hear from Coach Steve Gendron of the Donahoe Falcons. You hear from Coach Matt Deerman of the Piedmont Bulldogs. You hear from Zac Welch of Alexandria and Travis Janssen of Oxford. You'll also hear from Carter Johnson and Forrest Heacock from Oxford. We'll have all of those. You'll hear from every single one of those today. But unfortunately, we did have some teams who saw their season come to an end, and one of those teams was Tommy Miller and the Jacksonville Christian Academy Thunder. So let's take a look at the score from their series with Athens Bible. JCA did hit the road. Yeah, Jacksonville Christian saw their season come to an end at the hands of Athens Bible. Game 1 featured Ryan Faust. He went perfect, 4 for 4 with an RBI for Athens Bible. Gavin Butler went 2 for 4 with an RBI. Ethan Barnes added 2 RBIs. Athens Bible started Luke Merle on the mound. He threw 3 2/3 of an inning, gave up 3 hits, had 8 strikeouts. Ethan Johnson came in relief, threw 3 1/3 inning, gave up 2 hits, 2 earned runs, and 4 strikeouts as Athens Bible won 7-2. In Game 2, it was Ryan Faust again who went 2 for 3 with 3 RBIs. Gavin Butler was 2 for 5 with an RBI. Grant Ogles finished 2 for 5 with an RBI. Weston Todd had 2 RBIs, and Ethan Johnson started on the mound. He threw 3 2/3, gave up a hit, no runs, 3 strikeouts. Ethan Barnes came in relief, finished the game throwing 3 1/3 inning, gave up 3 hits, 1 run, and 4 strikeouts. Jacksonville Christian falls in Game 2, 12-4. So with that being said, let's take a look at where the bracket stands. JCA's season comes to an end. Athens Bible moves on to the second round, where they will play Summerton Christian, as Summerton Christian got the series win over Shoals Christian. So JCA's season comes to an end. Athens Bible advances to play Summerton Christian. Let's move to Class 2A. We had Rambert out of 2A South. They played Cottonwood, and Cottonwood defeated Rambert in 2 games, 10-6 and 10-1, as Cottonwood advances to the second round. In the first game, Cottonwood jumped out to a 9-2 lead through 4 innings. They scored 4 runs in the first inning, 5 more in the fourth. Cleet Meadows and Austin Miller each had 3 hits, with Meadows driving in a run. Ethan Simmons contributed 2 hits with an RBI, while Braylon Morris and Eli Jones both had a hit and an RBI. Miller pitched 6 innings for Cottonwood, earned the win, striking out 6 batters. He conceded 6 runs, 5 of which were earned, and allowed only 3 hits. Simmons pitched the final inning, striking out 1 batter. In the second game, which was 10-1, Ethan McNeil had a standout performance for Cottonwood, collecting 3 hits and driving in 4 runs. Taylor McCord, Meadows, and Simmons each had a hit and an RBI, while Morris contributed with a run driven in. Morris also pitched a complete game in Game 2, striking out 11 batters, allowed just 4 hits, gave up 1 run and 7 innings of work. Looking at the bracket now, Coach Whitley's Ramblin' Bulldogs season comes to an end. Cottonwood advances to the second round of the state playoffs, where they will play one of the top teams in the state, which is Pike Liberal Arts. So on that side of the Class 2A bracket, it will be Cottonwood going to play Pike Liberal Arts. All right, let's move to Class 3A. Let's not move to 3A. Let's stay in 2A. Let's talk about the Donahoe Falcons. How could we skip the Donahoe Falcons? We can't. How about this? Donahoe has now won 6 straight games. They swept Southeastern 4-3 in Game 1, won 1-0 in Game 2. In Game 1, Peyton Webb hit a home run, drove in 2 runs as the Falcons jumped out to a 4-0 lead. They managed to maintain that despite a late rally by Southeastern. Blake Sewell pitched a complete game, his 3rd straight complete game, by the way, striking out 8 batters and allowing just 3 hits over 7 innings. Kai Kleckler hit a double, scored a run, while Brody McCauley contributed a single and an RBI. In Game 2, Hayes Farrell dominated on the mound. He pitched a complete game with 10 strikeouts, allowed only 4 hits. At the plate, he also went 2 for 3 with a double. He scored the game's only RBI. Webb also doubled and scored a run in the second game as Donahoe got the win. Game 1, 4-3. Got the win. Game 2, 1-0. Speaking of Southeastern and the sweep, we caught up with head coach Steve Gendron. Here he is giving his thoughts on getting the win over Southeastern.
All right, last week, we went to Southeastern, first round of the playoffs. It's been a minute since we've been on the road for the first round. It was nice and refreshing. Last time we played there was 7 years ago, and they beat the brakes off of us. And this time there was 2 tight games, 4-3 in Game 1, and then Game 2 was 1-0. Hayes Farrell pitched a gem. That's his 3rd complete game in a row. Offensively, game 1, we kind of jumped out early, and then I think it was 3-0 early, and then it was maybe 4-1 late. But they scored a couple runs in that last inning. Game 2 was kind of a battle. They had a good lefty on the mound with a nice curveball, and it kept us off balance. But we did some good things, put the ball in play, and scratched through a run there. That was good, and then we're going to need to be a little bit more offensive this next upcoming week. So really looking to our guys this week to have a good week of practice and be ready to go.
So correction there, it's Hayes Farrell that had his 3rd straight complete game. Needless to say, looking at the bracket now, though, Donahoe does get the win over Southeastern. They advance to the second round of the state playoffs, and Donahoe will be at home this Thursday when they will host Whitesburg Christian. So Whitesburg Christian will make the trip to Calhoun County, right here to Anniston, where they will play the Donahoe Falcons. So Coach Gendron's team advances. They're at home. Here he is talking more about Whitesburg Christian.
All right, Whitesburg Christian from the Huntsville area. Know a little bit about them just from common opponents that we've had in the past. I do know they have a couple of pretty good guys on the mound, and so do we. So I think our matchup there will be pretty good as far as pitching staff goes. But like I was telling you earlier, probably every coach in the county that's still playing is going to say, we need to hit. And our team has been streaky in regards to hitting. But I'm really hoping that we have a good week of preparation, some really good BP, have a lot of confidence going into our games on Thursday. And I think it's going to be a good matchup. Round 2 is always a little bit of a difference maker because you're getting a team that's been tested. They won the previous round. They know what's going on in the playoffs, and we've had a lot of battles through round 2, a lot of 3-game sets. And that could be what happens this week. So we're looking forward to it. It's going to be a challenge, and we'll be ready.
Good luck to the Donahoe Falcons in the second round. We will have highlights of that game this Friday on the Locker Room. I will be at Donahoe Thursday afternoon for the second round. We'll have highlights of Steve Gendron's team on Friday. Let's move to Class 3A. Coach J.D. Phillips' team made the playoffs for the first time since 2017. Ultimately, Welborn would open the scoring with a Brennan Talley ground out in the first inning, but it was all Plainview after that. Isaiah Amberson started Game 1 for Welborn, taking the loss. Ultimately, Plainview would win Game 2 6-2. So Plainview, let's look at the bracket. They are going to advance to the second round of the playoffs, where they will play Lauderdale County. So the winner of that game will, of course, advance to the quarterfinals, looking at a matchup with Gordo potentially. But Plainview eliminates Welborn, ends their season Plainview advances to play Lauderdale County. Let's stay in 3A, but let's talk about Matt Deerman and the Piedmont Bulldogs. Piedmont made quick work of Sylvania at home on Thursday. Holmesley threw a remarkable only give up 2 hits with 5 strikeouts in game 1. Trevor Pike led them offensively. He had 3 of the team's 7 hits, scoring 2 runs. He had an RBI. In game 2, Cole Alston only gave up 2 hits, striking out 8 batters. McLean Mohan hit a grand slam. That was a part of an 11-hit offensive surge for the Bulldogs. Overall, Mohan had an impressive day, went 4 for 6 with 8 RBIs, including that home run that ended up being a grand slam. Piedmont swept Sylvania in 2 games. Here's the head coach of the Piedmont Bulldogs, Matt Deerman, talking more about their sweep over Sylvania.
So against Sylvania this past week, I thought we executed our game plan to a T. We knew they had one really good pitcher. We were very patient against him, got his pitch count up in the 5th inning, and once we got him tired, I felt like we really jumped on him and took advantage of some situations. We were really good on the bases too. We stole 16 bases in the series, and we had some timely hits, especially in that first game with 2 outs to get us the lead. And in the second game, we knew that their pitching wasn't as strong. Their 2 and 3 pitchers weren't as strong, and we jumped on them pretty early. Got a lot of young guys, some playing time, some playoff experience, and that's invaluable for the future. And you never know when you're going to need one of those guys to play in a big game. So thought that was really big for us. And in both games, our pitching was really good. We gave up 4 hits in the 2 games combined. I think we had something like 16 strikeouts. So it was a really good series for us. We did what we were supposed to do, got off to a good start, and hopefully that'll carry over into this next week.
Piedmont advances to the second round of the state playoffs, but they will not be playing who most of us thought they would be playing. You certainly play the game for a reason, and it was a bit of what some would consider an upset as Decatur Heritage season comes to an end to Fayette County. So with that being said, the Piedmont Bulldogs will now be on the road this week, where they will make the trip to Fayette County. Going to be about a 3-hour drive for the Piedmont Bulldogs. Coach Matt Deerman's team on the road at Fayette County. Here's Coach Matt Deerman with more on Fayette County.
Fayette County, really solid team. They're a lot like us. I mean, their pitching staff is, they got pretty deep pitching staff, nothing overpowering. They have, pretty solid in the lineup. Play a lot of small ball, pretty solid on defense. So, when I describe them, I think that's a lot about what our team is. And so, traveling 3 hours, that's one of those things that try to do a couple of times during the year to prepare us for this particular road series, and hopefully that'll pay dividends this weekend.
Good luck to the Piedmont Bulldogs this weekend at when they travel to Fayette County. Hopefully safe travels for the Bulldogs. Great baseball as well. Hey, when we come back, we're going to talk about Jacksonville and White Plains, whose season came to an end. But we're also going to talk about Alexandria and Oxford, whose season continues. You'll hear from Zac Welch and Travis Janssen, 2 Oxford players as well. We continue on the Locker Room, presented by Ted's Floors and Beyond.
Can I help make pancakes, Dad?
Of course, buddy.
I absolutely love these cabinets we have here in our showroom. And as much as you like these right here, the options on this kitchen over here, I think you're going to... For real, Randall?
I love this kitchen.
Let's do a kitchen makeover in your home.
Fair enough.
Seriously, guys?
We made you one.
Okay. We ought to do this more often.
For over 60 years, Oxford Lumber has been servicing our area, and our customer service has always been our main focus. Our customer service is what sets us apart from anyone else. From the moment you enter, our highly trained staff will treat you like family.
To enthusiastically provide total customer satisfaction within a positive and self-fulfilling employee relations environment. Visit us at any of our 4 locations or at oxfordlumber.com.
Since 1993, WM Grocery has been a major part of our local community. WM offers the very best in fresh produce and an outstanding meat department. WM also has many local products not found anywhere else and fresh sushi every day. If you need an event catered, come see Mrs. K at any WM store. Curbside pickup is also available for your online grocery orders. Be sure to download the WM app for all the deals of the week and shopper rewards. Go check them out today at any of their locations.
We take pride in our community and appreciate your business.
For metal buildings in Alabama and the Southeast, Waldrop Manufacturing is your one-stop source. A Waldrop metal building provides the coverage and protection your investments need. They specialize in carports, RV covers, portable buildings, and storage buildings. Stop paying rent for storage. With Waldrop's price per foot, you can actually save money by buying straight from the manufacturer. Waldrop buildings are guaranteed because Waldrop manufactures buildings with U.S. steel right here in Calhoun County. Waldrop Manufacturing, serving the entire Southeast. Give them a call today.
Welcome back into the Locker Room, presented by Ted's Floors and Beyond. I'm Namath Pitts. Hope you're having a great Monday afternoon. We continue on now in the Locker Room, talking Alabama High School Athletic Association baseball state playoffs round 1, recapping the first round for our local teams. Also talking with some winning coaches who advanced to the second round. Before we get back into the action, do want to remind you about our East Alabama Now news, which is tonight at 6:30 p.m. Mike Stedham and Katie Edwards will have your local news. John Holder will have your local weather. And, of course, I will have your local sports. Speaking, though, of Katie Edwards, her husband, Jamison Edwards, is the head coach at Jacksonville. They had a great season, a lot of great accomplishments. But, unfortunately, they did see their season come to an end this past week in the first round of state playoffs. So let's take a look at the score from the Jacksonville and North Jackson series. And the first game, just things started off about as bad as they could have started for Jacksonville. North Jackson plays in arguably one of the hardest areas in the state of Alabama in 4A. They traveled to Jacksonville, not intimidated at all, and very quickly silenced the Jacksonville faithful. North Jackson dominated game 1, handled business in a much closer game 2 as they won 12-9. But unfortunately for Coach Jamison Edwards and the Jacksonville Golden Eagles, their season does come to an end as North Jackson wins game 1 10-1 and game 2 12-9 as they advance to the next round of the playoffs. And there is the bracket updated. North Jackson beats Jacksonville, advances to the second round, where they will play at home, where they will host Haleyville. Haleyville got the win over Hamilton, so that sets up Haleyville and North Jackson in the 4A playoffs. The other team in our area in Class 4A that made the playoffs was White Plains, and they had to go on the road and face the defending state champions in 4A, which was Etowah. And Etowah made pretty quick work of White Plains. They won 11-1 and 12-1 to sweep White Plains in Attala. Both games ended in 5 innings due to the 10-run mercy rule. Etowah had a great day on the base pass. They end up stealing 14 bases over 2 games. They basically, in game 1, White Plains jumped out to 1-0 lead, but Etowah quickly gained that by scoring 3 runs in the second inning, 4 in the third, and 4 in the fifth. Bodie Bennett went 2 for 3 with a double, an RBI, and 2 runs scored. Slade St. Clair hit a 2-run triple and scored a run. And Avery Haynes contributed a hit, an RBI, and a run scored. How about my guy Avery Haynes right there? You love to see it. In game 2, Etowah maintained that momentum, scoring 3 runs in the third inning, 4 in the fourth, and 5 in the fifth. Sissom, committed to Mississippi State, pitched effectively, retiring the side in order during the 4th and 5th innings, basically to keep a big lead. St. Clair hit 2 for 3 with a home run, 2 RBIs. Cash Hayes was on fire, perfect at the plate, 4 for 4 with 2 RBIs and 2 runs scored. Bennett went 2 for 4 with a triple, 2 runs scored. Bennett Reese added offensively, going 2 for 3. And additionally, Sissom and Bailey Wilder each had a hit, an RBI, and a run scored, while Connor Dingler also hit a 2 RBI base hit. Etowah got the win over White Plains 12-1. Speaking of Etowah, head coach of the Etowah Blue Devils, Coach Blake Bone. Yeah, you'll hear from him tomorrow on the Locker Room. Tomorrow we will talk with Blake Bone of Etowah. We'll also talk with Westbrook Christian, Southside Gadsden, and Coosa Christian. Tomorrow we will be talking Etowah County baseball, doing the same thing we're doing right now, reviewing scores from round 1, taking a look at where the bracket stands. So tomorrow is Etowah County. So if you're an Etowah fan, Blake Bone will be on the Locker Room tomorrow. All right, let's move forward to Class 5A. Before we do, there's the bracket. Speaking of Etowah, they advanced. They'll play corner. So tomorrow you'll hear Blake Bone tell us more about corner. But that is where things stand as Etowah eliminates Blake Jennings' team, who, by the way, made the playoffs in his first season. A lot to be proud of if you're White Plains. but Etowah advances, and they will play corner in the second round. All right, let's move to Class 5A now. Let's talk about the Alexandria Valley Cubs. Well, Alexandria is known for its pitching. Well, this past Friday, Trip Patterson and Andrew Allen delivered standout pitching performances. Let me tell you about this. Trip Patterson pitched a perfect game. He struck out 11 batters in 6 innings. He ended the game with a quick 3-pitch strikeout, capping off the perfect game. Behind the plate, his catcher, Aiden Bruner, impressive day. Went 3 for 3 with a double and 3 RBIs. Ian Cartwright had a 1 for 2 day, scoring a run and adding 3 RBIs. Offensively, Ty Brown had a triple, scored thanks to an error by Douglas. Brown and Henniger each recorded 2 RBIs. Patterson and Allen both had a lot of offensive support for what was some great defensive outings. Andrew Allen, although he didn't throw a perfect game, he still struck out 11 batters, mirroring Patterson's dominant performance. The game started in a scoreless tie, but after the first half inning, Alexandria scored 13 runs. So before Andrew Allen even stepped back on the mound, he had a 13-0 lead. Yeah, Allen's performance, what was so significant about it, although it was not a perfect game, guys, we don't talk enough about the comeback that this guy has made. He missed 5 weeks this season due to a surgical knee injury. His return just shows the depth of Alexandria's pitching. Let's not be silly here. The pitching is what's going to make this team a team that can win a state championship. You keep adding 14 runs per game like that, they'll walk their way to the playoffs, but they got to maintain focus. Got to maintain focus pitching-wise, got to maintain focus offensively with their firepower. We talked with the head coach of Alexandria, Coach Zac Welch. He talked about getting the sweep over Douglas. Here is Zac Welch with more.
Douglas was a much improved team. It was really nice to see them come into town. Coach Redmond's doing a great job with them, and they came in with 2 good arms that I thought we handled really well at the plate. We scored a lot of runs early in game 1, and that really kind of set the tone and got us rolling, and we continued that into game 2. Their game 2 starter was good and kept us off balance for an inning or 2, but once we scored a couple, we really got things going at the plate and just had outstanding pitching and defense out in the field that I couldn't say enough about. I tell you, Andrew Allen and Trip Patterson on the mound are 2 good arms, and I'm glad they're throwing for me, and I don't have to deal with having to figure out how to hit them.
All right, Alexandria advances to the second round of the state playoffs, which has kind of been their kryptonite, so this is going to be the round. Can they get past this round right here? This is where they fell multiple times before. They do advance. They're going to be on the road this week. Alexandria is going to have a little bit of about a 2-hour and change drive as they're going to go to Lawrence County to face Lawrence County, which, by the way, is a familiar opponent in the playoffs before. They've faced Lawrence County before in the playoffs, so that's where Alexandria is headed this week. Speaking of Lawrence County, here's head coach Zac Welch with more on them.
Lawrence County is a really good team. They compete really well. They have some big physical kids, have a lot of seniors. Their best player is their shortstop and their catcher. They both pitch, and when they don't pitch, they go back and play that position, and there's no complaining. They play 21 innings at the toughest positions on the field, and they really compete. They're an old throwback to baseball, a dirtbag team that really scraps for runs and makes you earn everything that you get. So it's going to have to take a good showing from us when we go over to Lawrence County. I'm sure everybody from Moulton is going to come out and support them. I hope that our Valley Cub following travels well too, and we'll see what happens. It should be a very good series. High school baseball playoffs at its best.
Good luck to the Alexandria Valley Cubs in round 2 of the playoffs. Let's move to Class 6A and talk about the defending Class 6A state champions, which is the Oxford Yellow Jackets. They're looking to replicate that again this season. Well, they got as strong of a start as you can get as they swept Parker at Choccolocco Park. In Game 1, R.J. Brooks and James Tapley combined to only give up 1 hit. R.J. Brooks did get the win. He struck out 10 batters in 4 innings. The offense was just as impressive. Carter Johnson led the way, going 2 for 3 with a triple. He scored twice, drove in 4 runs. Reed Maniscalco also shined, going 2 for 2 with a triple, a run, and 2 RBIs. Rocco Maniscalco and Kanan Bozeman both contributed for Oxford, going 2 for 4. Bozeman scored 3 times, had an RBI. Nick Richardson went 2 for 2 with 2 runs as they won Game 1 16-0. In Game 2, Oxford continued its strong performance. Nick Richardson took the win, pitching 4 2/3 innings, allowing just 1 hit, striking out 5 batters. He also had a great day at the plate. Went 3 for 3 with 2 runs and RBI. Todd Gann went 3 for 3 with a run and 3 RBIs. Bozeman went 3 for 3 with a double, 2 runs and 3 RBIs. Forrest Heacock contributed with a double, a run, and RBI. And Johnson added another strong performance, off of his game one by going 2 for 3 with 2 runs and an RBI. The Oxford Yellow Jackets swept Parker. Here's head coach Travis Janssen talking more about that sweep.
Well, I would start by going back the week before when we finished up with Gadsden and ACA. That was a week where we played 6 games, and we were tired at the end of the regular season. And to me, we kind of limped to the finish line. And so I was really excited to have a good week of practice and then go into the first round of the playoffs. The matchup was very favorable for us. If we played well, we knew we would be in good shape, and our guys did a great job responding with a good week of practice, and it was a really solid weekend. So on Friday we won 2 games, and on Saturday we came back and practiced at Chocolaca, and that was my favorite part of the weekend because we had one of our best practices of the year, and had a really good practice Saturday morning. So it's a good feeling right now.
Oxford got that sweep thanks to some strong performances by some of their players. We mentioned Carter Johnson. In game 1, Carter Johnson led the way. He went 2 for 3 with a triple. He scored twice, had 4 RBIs. In game 2, Johnson also had a strong performance, going 2 for 3 with 2 runs and an RBI. We talked with Carter Johnson. Here he is talking more about the Parker series, but also previewing their next opponent, which is Buckhorn.
Well, it was obviously just a huge win for the team to go in there and we swept Parker, but I kind of just focus on doing what I can do every day to help the team win. So just getting in runs and making plays in the field is just my big thing for the team. So honestly, I haven't really heard too much about him yet, so I guess we're just going to go over there and do what we can to do to win.
Another Oxford Yellow Jacket that had a good day against Parker was Forrest Heacock. He had a double, a run, and an RBI for the Yellow Jackets. Great senior, headed to play at the next level as well. Here's Forrest with more on the win over Parker, but also his thoughts on Buckhorn.
Felt good to play. You know, any playoff win's a big win for the team. Just trying to get RBIs and be a wall behind the plate there for my team. And then Buckhorn, I don't know much about them. You know, any playoff team at this point is going to be a good team. Just try to go in there, do our jobs, and win the series.
All right, we kind of hinted at that next round opponent for Oxford, but Oxford did get the win over Parker. Buckhorn got the win over Huffman. So Oxford is going to hit the road this week and travel. They're going to be on the road at Buckhorn. So here's Coach Travis Janssen talking about going on the road in the playoffs and going to a place that you haven't been before, which is Buckhorn.
It's a different experience to be on the road. I go back to the Fort Payne road trip because it kind of, I guess we're heading in that direction, and it's a little bit of a long trip, 2.5 hours, and I know our guys will be excited to play whether it's on the road or at home. So I don't think it's going to be that big a factor. I guess there's a factor of seeing a ballpark that we have never seen before and getting used to the nuances of what a park plays like and things like that. But our guys are they're super excited to keep playing, and I think the team's in a good spot right now and just need to keep playing the way we've been playing.
Good luck to the Oxford Yellow Jackets in the second round of the state playoffs. Hey, that's going to do it for us today on the Locker Room. But hey, we're not done talking state playoff baseball, because tomorrow on the Locker Room going to be very, very similar to today, except tomorrow you're going to hear from Jerry Wendell, the head coach at Westbrook Christian. You're going to hear from Shane Chappell, the head coach at Southside. You're going to hear from Blake Bone, the head coach at Etowah. And you're going to hear from Dwayne Boyd, the head coach at Coosa Christian. We're talking Conqueror, Blue Devil, Panthers, and Warriors baseball all tomorrow right here on the Locker Room. Hope you'll join me back here tomorrow for Etowah County baseball. Other than that, have a great Monday afternoon. I'll see you on our East Alabama Now News in just a minute. But that's it for us today on the Locker Room. I'm Namath Pitts, and thank you for watching the Locker Room presented by Ted's Floors and Beyond.